in multiple states against what appears to be a coordinated effort by certain psychologists to continue to milk the cow, if you will. In fact, we got an email from one of the originators of COBE, Court-Ordered Behavioral Intervention, that once the laws in Arizona were passed that kind of made this a thing, sent to another psychologist, we now have a goose that laid the golden egg. So the problem is that there is a perverse incentive to continue temporary orders that go on seemingly forever and suck the financial life out of these families. One of the interesting stories, hundreds of thousands of dollars paid by one family over a year. They had a change in psychologists, and within 3 weeks, for $2,500, it was resolved.
This is Lioness Letters, a place for the mothers who were never heard, but never stopped loving. These are our stories of being silenced, separated, erased, in the long, sacred return. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Kelly.
And these are our letters to you. Hey everybody! I just wanted to pop on here quick before this video starts and just do a full disclaimer that this video does not have the best audio and visual. A lot of our newer work is better, but this one is before we even thought we were going to do a podcast. We did not have the equipment and we kind of just winged it this day. Kelly and I were in DC. We were doing advocacy work in DC at the time. We were there with other advocates, and Senator Finchem was gracious enough to come out and talk to all of us there. And he let me sit down with him and ask him some questions. So we still think that this is really important. We think we want our audience to still have this. We didn't want to throw it out. So just ignore the visual and turn the audio up really loud so that you can listen. Because Senator Finchem has a really great way of articulating the problems going on within family court. He has a really rational view on just all of it, and great ideas on solutions. He has a true understanding of what's going on because he is the chairman of the ad hoc committee in Arizona. And with this committee, they had tons of people from all over the U.S. came out. It was supposed to, I think, just be for Arizona, but people from all over the U.S. came out to testify and to tell their stories of what happened to them because of family court. So it was survivors, advocates, experts, they all came out. It's all recorded so that you can see it all, and I will put that link in the description for this video. But like I said, yeah, just don't sleep on this one. Just turn the volume up, ignore the audio, and listen to Senator Finchem. He really is a really important figure in this movement at this point, and we're very grateful to him for speaking up, for the work he's doing, the work he's willing to do in the future, and listening to the people at this point. So don't ignore it. And also, Kelly and I are aware that there's plenty of other people doing what we're doing. There's other podcasts. There's all sorts of things. We're just packaging it up in our own little way. This is our contribution and our way to help other people get their stories out, and a platform for that. So we do need help. We are very new right now, so we need followers, subscribers, likes, shares, views, all the things. So far, so good. We seem to be getting off really well on TikTok, but we need help on YouTube, because that's mainly where we're releasing our episodes. We are going to also be doing Spotify. I just need to get that all situated. But all of our releases are Thursdays at 6 p.m. Please come by 6 p.m. Just play it, even if you can't watch the whole thing. Play it in the background so that it gets views, and we can keep this thing going and keep doing what we're doing, because we really don't want to stop. We really want to be part of getting loud and hoping that somebody listens and we get change. We're not going to stop until there's change. So thank you so much for coming by. Thank you for the listen. This episode's really important. It's very educational. Senator Finchem is really good at just laying it all out there, verbalizing the problems, and yeah, don't sleep on this one. Thank you so much. Come back on Thursdays. Bye.
All right. First of all, thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome.
I'm happy to have you here. Thank you for giving us your time. I just wanted to first off talk about, well, do you want to introduce yourself?
Senator Martin Finchem, Arizona Legislature District 1, which encompasses all of Yavapai County, which is a mix of small towns and national forest and cow country.
Okay. And mainly we're here because of the family court system across the U.S. And
That's why
you're in D.C., yes. There's an event happening later today, right?
With the National Forest Club.
With Dr. Van D.C. And
It's a whole bunch of elected officials from states all over the country.
Right. And I really knew about you because of the ad hoc committee. Can you explain what the ad hoc committee is for the chairman of it and what you guys are doing and everything?
Well, it was I stood this up as a result of the governor vetoing a piece of legislation last year on false premise, but I'll get to that in a moment. We ran a bill to require that the court obtain the permission
Okay. I'm following.
of both parents before forcing them into court-ordered behavioral intervention.
Yes.
Now, COBE, as it's come to be known, is a fringe psychiatric psychologist theory that has absolutely no peer-reviewed research behind it. And there are individuals that are parading around the country trying to license this as a psychologist framework for the court to work within. In the short description of it is the forced relationship building between a minor and a parent.
Right.
Now, the way it's manifests itself in Arizona, we have just uncountable numbers of cases where the court has forced an abused minor to enter into court-ordered behavioral intervention with the parent. Now, that parent may be a drug user, may be an alcoholic, may have a sexual addiction, may have engaged in domestic assault, sexual assault of the minor. But the court doesn't seem to care about that because we've got these psychologists who they're out there.
Yes.
And I don't mean out there in the world. They're out there in outer universe, and they're thinking that you can force a relationship to be repaired by forcing people, human beings, to be in the same room and to intervene, behavioral intervention. Well, what's really happened is we now have a system that's been set up that essentially teaches kids how to play within the system.
Yes. Yes.
They endure until they're aged out of the system.
Yes.
And then the court no longer has jurisdiction.
Right.
And what I find most offensive is this entire architecture has been built around a financial incentive, not what's in the best interest of the child.
Right. And it's like, no matter what the parents' status is, no matter what they've done or anything, all they care about is relationship with both parents. It doesn't matter. They need access to both parents, right? That's what they keep doing.
There's a lot of the testimony that we took. The parents don't object to the other parent having access to children. If you got somebody, in fact, Section 403 of Arizona's law, I won't use the title, but it has to deal with the 12 factors the court is supposed to consider when awarding parental visitation.
Yes.
Now, we start from a place of 50-50, which that's a reasonable place to start.
Right.
But when you have a parent who is engaged in, for example, domestic assault, okay, you would think that the scale would be tipped towards a parent who was assaulted, not the assaulter.
Yes.
The other thing that is on the schedule is sexual assault, violent behaviors. So one of the problems that we've run into is there's a public court decision in Arizona.
Okay.
They said, well, they're temporary orders.
Yes.
So we don't have to really abide by the 12 factors. Because they're temporary, you know?
But the
Except they last 9 years.
The temporary orders are where we go to die. Like, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's where those last forever.
Right. So where we're at today, the family court orders, the ad hoc committee stood up to take testimony, consider evidence, and develop a plan, a legislative initiative to rein in what appears to be an out-of-control family court system. We have rogue judges that don't follow court requirements. They do what they damn well please. And it's very apparent to me across the judicial landscape, and this is not just family courts, this is the entire judicial landscape. The judges seem to have forgotten who the hell they serve. They're there to serve the people and the people's interests. They're there to hear grievances under our constitutional framework. We're supposed to be governed by the rule of law, not the opinions and whims of men. Or women, as may be the case. So we now have judges in Arizona. In fact, when we started broadcasting these hearings, if people want to see more of the hearings, they can subscribe to my Substack, markfinchem.substack.com. We have all 40 hours of the hearings there for people to watch. And they're gut-wrenching. To hear these stories, I mean, every member of the panel wept, myself included, when we hear stories of parents who have been bankrupted, have lost their homes, all to pay the billable hours. And let's get to that.
That's my favorite line of yours. I see the number one.
All to support billable hours of lawyers, of psychologists, of advocates, of all the people that the court employs to do what the court itself should be doing.
Exactly.
That rely on not their own rules, their own jurisprudence, but the word of some people. In fact, in one case, there's an individual working for the court system who doesn't have a degree, is not enrolled in that degree program, has absolutely no training in domestic assault, PTSD, child abuse, none of it. Yet this individual is advising the court on which parent should be in custody. That is absolutely absurd.
Yes, sir.
And we aim to put a stop to it.
Yes, I completely agree.
17 states have contacted my office. Idaho, New Jersey, New Hampshire. I'm glad to see that Representative J.D. Hernandez from New Hampshire is going to be here today on panel as well.
That's amazing. Yes. We're so excited to see him. Yes.
Ran into him at the American Legislative Exchange Council earlier this year, or well, late last year. And totally unrelated. And this kind of goes to it's a story about the reach of common sense and technology. He sat down next to me in an energy policy panel meeting, looks over, he says, "Oh my God, that's Mark Finchem." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm afraid I don't know." He says, "I have watched every minute of your court hearings."
Yes, that's awesome.
And really, he says, "I'm the guy that wrote the legislation in New Hampshire to end family courts because of their bad behavior." Like, you and I just became best friends. Yeah. So, and we've been contacted, from Florida to Oregon, from New Hampshire all the way to California.
I watched the ad hoc, and people were coming in from all over the country.
It's interesting to me that committee in Arizona
attracted everybody. They were like, finally, somebody's
it's kind of like
putting light on it, right?
It's kind of like that critical mass, and I don't want to call it a black hole because that's what black holes do. They go to critical mass, but they suck in everything there is around it. Well, it seems that we have touched such a hot nerve of the people in the United States, parents, both us men and women. But our focus has been on the pole star of what's in the best interest of the child, the minor.
Right.
And I think when you come at the problem from that perspective, because the reason people get divorces is they don't like each other and they don't want to live together.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know it sounds kind of obvious, but apparently the court doesn't understand that because they want to force people to get along.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If they could do that, we wouldn't need the court.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So how about we just get to this place where we agree that parents from the start are entitled to 50-50 custody share.
Yes, I agree.
And then enough of this vexatious litigation.
Because the custody battle is what starts this war and starts funneling all the money into the system, right?
It's generally, more often than not, it's out of spite.
Yes. And
but there are those occasions.
As a weapon.
Right. Well, there are those occasions where you have, for example, I don't know if I should use her name, but I'm going to use her name because I think she's probably one of the most aggrieved parents in the United States. Master Sergeant Stacy Loss.
Okay.
I get choked up every time I talk about this woman. Mm-hmm. Raped by her ex-husband violently.
Let's see.
Her boys sodomized by him. Mm-hmm. And the court is ready to, well, actually, there's been a development, but the court is going to order those kids to this ex-husband in another state for a period of time for behavioral intervention.
Okay.
Well, the judge has since recused herself. That case is now dead.
Yes.
Don't know what happens to that once it happens.
Yes.
Master Sergeant Loss is breathing a sigh of relief for the time being, but we don't know what's going to happen with the judge's reassignment. Now, I will hope that the presiding judge over family court in Maricopa County is taking a long pause and considering what just happened here.
Yeah.
We have a number of parents that were in front of this particular judge.
Mm-hmm.
That you hear what's coming in the form of a court order, and you're left scratching your head going, okay, whatever happened to the best interest of the child? It now appears to be what's in the best interest of billable hours for the various service providers that walk in court. Now, the other thing that we have is a situation where, so can you tell me exactly what your qualifications are?
Yeah.
To be that service provider in the court. And interesting, and this is what happens when you have enough time to actually read and deliberate and consider some of the interactions. There's a report in Arizona that, in fact, I have to fly back tomorrow to be on panel for a different committee.
Oh, God.
But ACCHS, which is basically Medicaid,
yes,
has a list of psychologists. And if I remember the number correctly, it's like 550, maybe 34.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm a little dyslexic with numbers sometimes, but it's in the hundreds.
Yeah.
Would it surprise you to know that there's only a handful of psychologists that the court uses for behavioral intervention? That's kind of sounding like a closed universe.
Yeah. Sounds like a special club to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a group of psychologists who subscribe to this whacked out behavioral theory of court-ordered behavioral intervention. Now, I'll close my tirade with this.
Okay.
I'm talking to a number of family court judges who've been in the circuit for a while.
Yes.
They agree that within about 6 to 7 months, the judge comes to the understanding, this ain't working.
Mm-hmm.
This program doesn't work. Some judges are married to it.
Mm-hmm.
Others are like, okay, you could take $90,000 cash, put it in the middle of the courtroom and light it on fire, and you would get the exact same result.
Yeah.
So now we are sucking the life out of family finances, bankrupting families.
Yes.
And that money, instead of going to raise the child or children,
yes,
goes into the pockets of lawyers,
mm-hmm.
who we know fan the flames of passion. They're in many cases responsible for the vexatious litigation.
Mm-hmm.
We have psychologists who, we didn't solve this in 6 months. We need another 6 months.
Yes.
At $350 $50 an hour.
That's been my experience.
Every other week.
Yes. Yes.
And then we've got individuals who have zero qualifications who are court advisors.
Mm-hmm.
And they're kind of we have to have supervised visitation. Now, I will say this. There are things that need to be done by the court.
Of course, to protect.
That when you have a parent who, let's be real, can't be trusted with the kids, doesn't mean that they don't deserve visitation with their kids.
Yeah.
Because what if the supervised visitation with the kids, and I'm a believer in this, what if that supervised visitation with the supervisor not interacting, but just there to observe and make sure the kids are safe?
Yeah.
With an abusive parent, what if that starts changing the parent's attitude and the parent's heart?
Right.
And they are able to organically rebuild a relationship with their minor child who will one day be an adult?
Yes, sir.
Or are we going to continue to create a universe of abusers who are children today, but experiencing their parent of yesterday?
Yeah, because none of them leave family court. None of these kids leave family court mentally sound. It destroys them.
That's an excellent point. We've had testimony from a couple and several aged out adolescents who have told us, we wanted to testify, but my lawyer told me not to. Okay, listen to my words really carefully. Okay. My lawyer told me not to because there's pending litigation against the court itself, against the bar, which has facilitated this in many cases.
Yes.
In multiple states, against what appears to be a coordinated effort by certain psychologists to continue to milk the cow, if you will. In fact, we got an email from one of the originators of COBE, Court-Ordered Behavioral Intervention, that once the laws in Arizona are passed that kind of made this a thing, sent to another psychologist, we now have a goose that laid the golden egg. So the problem is that there is a perverse incentive to continue temporary orders that go on seemingly forever and suck the financial life out of these families. One of the interesting stories, hundreds of thousands of dollars paid by one family over a year. They had a change in psychologists, and within 3 weeks, for $2,500, it was resolved.
Yeah.
What changed?
Exactly.
I think it was the orientation of the psychologist.
Yeah.
That speaks to me, and while I can't prove it, and it's an anecdotal story, a one-off, you got one psychologist who's focused on making money, and you got another psychologist who's focused on solving the problem.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. And therein lies the devil in all those details that I think we as legislators are interested in putting some restraints on the court and barring the court from doing certain things. Now, I'm not ready to go as far as my colleague in New Hampshire went, and that is eliminate the family court system altogether, because there really are people that can't get along.
Right. And my thing with it is I've always been like, well, okay, I can understand how you could take the custody thing out of it, but the separation of the estate, family court, I mean, they also take care of that too. I mean, I guess you could
put that
Arizona, just civil.
No,
it's Arizona, two separate. Okay.
Yeah, it's two separate. That's Superior Court does the divorces.
I know that.
Family court does child custody matters.
Right.
So I think that where we need to be is the court, if the court is going to contemplate an order of separation between parent and child, temporary order, they have to be hemmed in by a certain period of time.
Agree.
I would favor 120 days. Temporary order can't exceed 120 days.
I love that. Yeah, because
the court should not award more than $15,000 in fees and lawyerly costs from the opposition.
I love that. That's, yeah.
What that does is it forces the lawyers, do your damn job. It forces the psychologists, do your damn job. It forces the parents, look, set your animosity aside, because as much as you'd like to think it's about you, it's not.
Yeah.
It's about the best interest of the minor. And if you can't scrape your crap together and be a participant in civil society, then you're going to lose access to your kids.
Yeah.
If you want to engage in vexatious litigation and try to take away the right of your former spouse, your co-parent, you yourself deserve to be negatively impacted.
Yeah.
Now, when you start going down that path and you've got some restraints that the court has to abide by, doesn't have some options, I think we'll see some real change.
No, I love that. That sounds amazing. I'm going to ask you one more question before I introduce you to Fran. I know that you have talked a lot about judicial immunity. Can you tell us what you think of that? Because that's one thing we're really trying to hit on.
Yeah.
And I want to know your opinion on that and what you think would be the solution.
My opinion is that if they were operating, when I say they, if the psychologists and the associated professionals who are making decisions about relationships had to operate within a standard of care, we wouldn't need quasi-judicial immunity. But instead, they get a pass through quasi-judicial immunity, so they don't have to operate under standard of care. They can do what they damn well please. It's the Wild West, okay?
Yes, sir.
Once again, I'm going to revisit the idea. They do not have a standard of practice because this is a fringe ideology that, frankly, I question the motive of the people who are promoting this. It appears to be, as they campaign all over the country, to license Kobe for the court so that they can be paid.
Yeah.
This all goes back to the establishment of a new industrial complex, if you will. All right. We had President Eisenhower gave probably the best speech on this subject when he talked about beware the military industrial complex. Well, now take a look around at everything that we have that surrounds us since that speech. We have the educational industrial complex.
Okay.
We have the transportation industrial complex. You go through TSA, you go through pre-check, or you go through the lanes. You have all of these industrial complexes that have popped up. And they're all built around one thing, a profit motive. They're not about solving a problem.
Yes.
Perhaps the defining moment for me was when I read the email, and this is loosely paraphrased, of one psychologist to another. This is the goose that laid the golden egg. That means that they will be able to milk this cow forever.
What I have heard is family court is the #1 most profitable court in the U.S.
And that should not be.
No.
Family court should operate on, I'm one of those who believes, some people would accuse me of being a libertarian more than a Republican, but I'm one of those who believes that the lightest touch possible on the lives of the people that government serves is the best government of all. So that means if the court is restrained from interfering with normal life, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Temporary orders, in my view, are not meant to go on forever, yet they do.
Yeah.
So we need to put an end to that.
I'm in almost 2 years right now on temporary orders in my case. Yes, sir.
That's absurd.
It's insane. It's insane.
It's not a temporary order. That's because the thing that I think sometimes the court forgets, we're burning daylight, okay?
And it's
the clock's ticking, and this kid is no longer going to be a kid.
Time with my kids. It's not temporary.
That's right. It's permanent. And what is happening, because you don't pay attention to these kinds of things, as time goes on, the rhetorical question is, are we creating a future for an adolescent who will behave the same way as their parents?
Yes, right. What examples are we setting whenever we do this? I mean, absolutely.
Yeah. So my message to those parents who want to engage in litigation and trying to bleed their co-parent dry, knock it off.
Thank you so much. I mean, I got chills with that. Thank you.